for joining me. We were just talking about our very first conversations, and I still remember one of our first sessions, we discussed the difference between what you were doing and who you were being at championships or important moments when the pressure is on, and at other shows. And I remember you telling me that when it was really important, you would feel like you had to do more and make sure that everything was perfect. And can you tell us a bit more about what life and riding and showing was like before we started working together?
Yeah, I mean, I always had the best intentions of always doing the best, and I always wanted to for sure improve and learn and always strive for the top results. But I think I actually did it in a way where I would overdo everything. If I wanted a result, I wanted it then, and I wanted it now. And big classes and championships that I wanted to win, I would do things that I've never even done before leading up. And I think I would definitely overdo and try to make every single thing perfect. And in doing so, it could sometimes lead to actually doing the opposite. And I remember actually I would ride very good in schooling, normal schooling classes. And then maybe on a day where maybe there's not so much pressure, but I wanted to win, I wouldn't always get it. And it was all, I think my intentions are all the same. I still have the same work ethic and attitude, but I've just learned how to navigate it better and how to make a better setup for the big classes.
Yeah, great. That's, I think, really relatable for a lot of people that wanting to do better or, wanting to do more because now it's important. So we had our very first conversation when you were 15. Yeah. I usually don't tend to take on people younger than 18, not for the one-to-one coaching, but we had a really interesting conversation. And I remember you were in the car with your mom, right, on the way to a show. Yeah. You mentioned earlier to Kentucky. And I believe there was a championship coming up, and that's why you guys reached out. Is that right?
Yeah, Young Riders.
Oh, tell me about that first conversation. Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, the first conversation, to be completely honest, I didn't know exactly what I would be getting into, just like what your program was very much like. I know we were striving to improve, and it was recommended by my trainer at the time to start working with you. And you kind of explained what your system is, and then and there I realized it wasn't just 1 or 2 hours a day. It was going to be a new lifestyle and very, very big commitment, but ultimately it's made everything a lot better, for sure.
What was that realization like for you, realizing that it's not just 1 or 2 hours, but a real big commitment? How was that for you?
Exciting, really exciting. I'm not one to shy away from more work, but when you lay something out and you tell someone, if you do X and you really commit yourself and these are the results you're going to get, it was definitely very exciting, and it's something I really wanted to do and do well. Yeah,
cool. What about when I mentioned the investments? Did that change anything?
Yeah, for sure it added some pressure. It definitely was something that adds some pressure from the family, and keeping that in mind. But I'm very lucky. I have parents that will fully support me through everything as long as I give 100% of my effort. So having their back and trusting you, it was something to think about, but for sure I knew exactly what it was worth doing.
I think it must have been also trusting yourself, right? That you would make that investment worth it in the end. Or was it mostly that you trusted me? I'm curious.
Well, it's exactly what you say it is. It's an investment. For me, how I think about it is I've been able to get so much more out of my horses and out of big classes, out of my results, that it's probably paid me off well in the end, not just you. So it's exactly that. It's something you're willing to put up front and get out big in the end.
I mean, obviously, in hindsight, you know that now, right? But at the time, you didn't.
At the time, no.
No.
At the time, it was
It
like...
requires a bit of a leap of faith.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Knowing you now and having the trust I have in you now, it seems like a no-brainer, but looking back at that moment, only speaking to you for 15, 20 minutes, seemed a bit unique, but for sure now, it's never looked back.
I recollect it was a little longer than 20 minutes, but yeah, you're right.
The first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I think
indeed,
it went.
you're right. And then tell us about, you decided to go ahead and do it with your family support. What was the beginning of that process like for you? Was it smooth? Was it tough? Was it what you expected?
It was nerve-wracking. For sure, I'm a person that always tries to please everyone and always wants to do the best. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was completely smooth because it's different. It's change. It's something to get used to, and it's a big commitment overall. But I would say actually within a few months of working with you, it became very comfortable actually. It became a nice training space, if you will, and having that clarity to always know what your next move is, with the training at least, it actually made me very comfortable. But for sure, the first few steps was a bit to get used to.
Yeah, sure. But you did get used to it. You pushed through, maybe sometimes some resistance internally doing the work. Was there any resistance, actually? I say that.
No, I would say for sure it seemed like a lot of work up front, but the resistance of actually doing it was never big for me because I was always learning, and I really, really like to learn and really, really like to improve. So for me, it was just, I can't get enough of it. But for sure, the workload at the start was like, oh, this is a big commitment.
Yeah,
for sure.
Got it. What has the process been like since? I mean, we're still working together. You've recently actually joined the academy as well in the group. Can you tell us a bit about the process of working one-to-one and now also the group academy work?
Yeah, I think the one-for-one was very good for me at the time. Definitely starting younger to doing it now. We've been together, 3 years now? So we're definitely very familiar with what you might tell me to do, but for sure the repetitiveness is good. And then making the transition to the academy, it's been actually very interesting to see how other people are going on about their training and their showing and how they're trying to improve as well. And what I found is it's actually quite all familiar. It's a great group of people though. Everyone there has the same goals to improve. So it's a very comfortable place to work for sure. And feel like I'm even learning more now transitioning to that.
Great. That's really helpful. Has your trust in me as a coach changed over time within this space of 3 years?
Yeah, it's definitely gotten stronger and stronger every year. Just trust me, we've had a few moments where I've called you 5 minutes before I'm getting on my horse and trying to nail everything last minute. But it's only grown. Very much now after good days and bad days, I really trust what input you'll have and how we move forward from things. You always know what direction to put me in, and I feel like that's my biggest thing, is I'm trying to do so many things at once, and you tell me what actually less but more important things to focus on, and absolutely I have full trust that I can work on that, and normally you're right. You're pretty much always right.
You mentioned just now that there have been a few moments where you indeed called me kind of last minute, right? I recall at an important championship, but also recently when you woke up and you were feeling dreadful, like physically just having the flu. You know, can you tell us actually a little bit about maybe one specific moment where you called me last minute? What was going on for you and what made you reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can take a couple of weeks ago for an example in Ocala. Yeah, for sure. I woke up with a huge fever and the flu, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in that moment, and I had to jump the Grand Prix qualifier that day. And in my head, I was trying to make myself feel good to ride good, and you said it very blatantly. You said, you don't need to feel good to ride good. You just need to focus on riding well, and you need to focus on your horse. And that's exactly what I did, and we ended up winning that class. So it was very quick. And then the same thing with the championships 2 years ago, I think. I was leading the individuals, and I was definitely in a spot I've never been before, where I was the one to catch, and you told me something that will stick with me forever, and that's to accept the nerves and use them for good. And through that, I've actually realized that I ride always the best, the more pressure and the more nerves I have, because I love that feeling. And same success story that week, actually went in and jumped double clear and finished the job. So
tell us a bit more about what the results are of the work we've done together.
Yeah, the results have been very good. You know, we've had a lot of wins together. We've done a lot. We've done a lot of big stuff. But for me, what's actually more important is the results that maybe were not so good, but how quickly we were able to focus and really tune in and see what the horse needs and not get distracted. And we've had a lot of wins together, but I think the way we've gotten there has been very good. There's been a lot of success, and that's exactly something we talked about in the car with our first conversation. Was you asked me a question, you said, do you think I'm necessary? And I definitely paused for a second, and then being 15, I maybe didn't give you the best answer, but I said, I don't think it's necessary, but I think the straightest line to success is going to be with you. There's no straight line to success, but we can get there, we can focus on it much better when
nicely
in the right
remembered.
system.
Yeah, I forgot about that bit. Yeah. Now, looking back, has that come true?
Absolutely. There's less moments where I'm focused on the wrong things. It's exciting when you win. It's exciting when you lose, because the process is exactly the same. And you've really taught me to how to focus on things when things happen. And I've actually learned through, I think, our system a little bit that I find it quite exciting when things don't go well, because it shows exactly what you need to work on. After a win, it's great, you feel good, but you don't always know exactly what you need to work on. And when you fail, and I do think when you fail, you learn. I think it's the only way you learn. But I think through you, for sure, I've learned to really find exactly what to focus on, and through that, get the results.
Nice. Lastly, what about the connection with your horses? Has that changed through working together?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's probably the biggest one. And it's not just the show, it's not just the results, but it's right here at home doing the flat work, doing the jumping, and really tuning in and feeling the whole body of the horse and feeling exactly what the horse needs, exactly how much work you need to do on the horse. And that, quite honestly, might be the biggest thing for me. I remember I had a horse that maybe wasn't the simplest that you helped me out with, and that was quite a special day for me. We were doing just some flat work, some very, very, very simple stuff, but you got me to really tune in, and I think the horse went around like that for me at home, and it's just going for that depth and really, really focusing and feeling and getting in tune with your animal that really makes a difference.
Awesome. Thank you, Will. This was extremely helpful. Thank you.
Thanks.